Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Giggity, real name is Mark, and in today's video, we are going to be ranking all 36 Call of Duty World War II multiplayer maps from worst to best. Besides Modern Warfare 3, this is the most maps in any I apologize. In any COD game that we've done so far. It's 36 is quite a bit. This is part, I think, 11 now to our multi-part series of ranking every single Call of Duty multiplayer map in each game. We started with Black Ops 6, which was part 1. Then we did Black Ops 2, then Call of Duty Ghost, and then Modern Warfare 3 2023. And then we did, I want to say, Black Ops 4? Yeah, I think we did Black Ops 4 next, and then we did Vanguard, and then we did Infinite Warfare, and then we did World at War, and then we did COD 4 Modern Warfare Remastered, then we did Advanced Warfare, and now today is World War II. Next will probably be Modern Warfare 2, the original, because I just want to talk about it. I don't know why I'm feeling it. But yeah, today is all 36 COD World War II multiplayer maps. I want to make it very clear that I am a very casual player, so there's no sort of competitive opinion here, and I really did not play that much of this game anyways, and especially not the DLC, but I did go back and play against bots just to refresh my memory. Some of the DLC maps, I'm going to be 100% transparent with you guys. It was my very first time ever even playing them. So take everything I say here with a grain of salt. I'm not a professional, I'm not an expert when it comes to these maps, but I wanted to talk about them. So if you got a problem with that, sue me. This is also all personal opinion. I'm mainly basing it just on vibes and how they play against bots, so don't take it too seriously. And final thing, we are splitting it up into 6 tiers: the awful tier, bad tier, mediocre tier, amazing or good tier, amazing tier, and the best tier. Song of the day is called Bad Tings by Zoe Dallas. It is a rap song, obviously, so if you don't like rap music, don't listen to it. But if you do like rap music, give it a listen. If you like The Weeknd or like Tory Lanez style rap music, that's the best way I can describe this song. It's like a more like melodical rap song, if that makes any sense. But without further ado, let's get right into it with number 36, my least favorite map in COD World War II. And that, my friends, is the Egyptian Sands. The Egyptian Sands is a dogfight only map. You can only do dogfighting on it. That's actually a game mode in World War II, by the way. One that I did not know existed until I went back to play it. And it's really cool. The fact that you can, fight in airplanes with people, and like they're not just kill streaks. Like you're actually controlling the airplane and actually like fighting people. That's awesome. Like really smart idea there, Call of Duty. But then it doesn't really play that well, and Egyptian Sands is just really boring. I mean, picture an Egyptian Sands, and that's exactly what the map is. It's just a flat plain of sand in Egypt. Pretty boring map design. And coming in at 35th place is going to the Crimean Mountains, which is the other dogfight only map. There's only 2 in this game, so this is the last one, don't worry. But yeah, it kind of just sucks, man. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I was not the biggest fan of the dogfight only maps. This one's much better. It's got more like things that you can possibly hit with your airplane and more like things to maneuver between, and it just looks prettier. It's like a prettier design, colors and all that stuff. But overall it is, again, just a random like spot in a world. Like it's not like that cool. All right, but coming in at 34th place, and the first one for the actual like maps, multiplayer maps in this game, is Anthropoid. Anthropoid, it's weird name. I feel like that just doesn't make much sense, but either way, the design of this map is just boring, man. We're gonna notice a lot in World War II that a lot of these maps are kind of like based off of realistic battles that would have happened in World War II. Maybe they're exact representations of those battles, or maybe they're just like places that could have potentially happened, and this is one of those. It's just like a French town with like that's got like some snow. It just felt way too large though against bots, and I can only imagine how it would feel against like real players. It just wasn't that cool, and it didn't really separate itself from any of the other maps that well. Coming in at 33rd place, however, is going to Monte Casino. It's not a casino. I don't know why it has that word in it, but obviously this is not an English casino, so that could mean anything. It could mean freaking big booty hole, and I would be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But the map is just kind of boring, man. Again, it's another one that's kind of just set in a random town, and it's like it's smaller than Anthropoid, so it does like play more aggressively, which is definitely better in my opinion. But I don't know. I feel like World War II kind of went for a more like, the DLCs in particular went for a much larger approach to the map designs. Like the regular base game maps were small, and then they like went all out in the DLCs and made them massive, and I just really don't understand why. 32nd place, though, I'm going to immediately have to retract that statement because it is a base game map that is way too large. Gustav Cannon. Gustav Cannon realistically isn't even actually that large. It's just that it's got the most wide open spawns known to mankind and the best place to just camp those spawns known to mankind. If you haven't played Gustav Canyon yet, you're a lucky man, because this map back in the day, dude, I remember if somebody got on top of the cannon, all they had to do was sit up there for the rest of the game AR, LMG, sniper, doesn't matter what it was, they could lay down hurt into the enemy spawn, and the enemies just could not leave spawn. It was so frustrating. The map was such a cool idea too, but then it just flopped. But coming in at 31st place in the final one for the awful tier, before we get into the bad tier, is the HQ. No, I'm not saying that this is, I know you're probably thinking, what, the HQ doesn't count as a map, you never got to actually play on it. You're wrong. They actually allowed you to play in the HQ only for a limited time, for free-for-all, gun game, and prop hunt only. That was it. But yeah, you could play in the HQ, the headquarters of the game. You could play in that for these games. It was okay and everything like that, but it wasn't, clearly the HQ was not meant to be like a multiplayer map, and so it really didn't play that well. Some of the spawns were god-awful, like you would just get spawn trapped like crazy, and it was just a kind of weird design. Breaking its way into the top 30 and breaking its way into the bad tier is Chancellery. Chancellery, whatever this is supposed to be pronounced like. It's a dark map that's set in front of like a really nice, beautiful building, but it's too dark in my opinion. It's really hard to see the enemies half the time on this map, and then the map is also like really freaking large. It's really large, and then it's not a fun large too, where it's kind of like Gustav Canyon, you know, where again, Gustav Canyon was not fun because of the camping thing, but if that thing wasn't in the middle, it would have been pretty fun, because it's so close quarters large, so it like takes forever to find an enemy, and then you just die to a shotgun blast anyways. 29th place is another, it kind of reminds me a lot actually of Chancellery, except it's definitely like miles better. It's Market Garden. Market Garden is again another dark map that has a lot of close range engagements to it. It's just another random building, but this is like more of like a, I think like a hotel style building, I guess you can say, or I guess it's a Market Garden. I guess that's the best way to describe it. But you can actually see the enemies, and the map is nowhere near as large as Chancellery is. It's much better to play. But I will say something, man. I'm gonna say it. I said it already, but I'm gonna say it again. The DLC in World War II flopped. Like, a lot of the DLC maps in this game were just not that fun, and this is one of the ones that I did play when it came out, and I just really didn't enjoy it back then, and going back to play it again, I again wasn't a big fan. So 28th place is the first one of a bunch of maps that are obviously different from a regular Call of Duty map. Operation Arcane. It is the worst of the war mode maps in my opinion. Yes, we're ranking the war mode maps because I do think I should rank them. I played almost every single one of the war mode maps, and this one just feels the most kind of boring. Like, there's just, I don't know, man, it just doesn't feel that like special. It feels like I get the idea of these war mode maps is that one team has to really push through the enemies, and the enemies have a really easy way to defend them, but over time they will slowly get through. But Operation Arcane feels the hardest to get through as an attacker. Like, it just feels like it's next to impossible to get through. It just feels like you're just like stuck. And coming in at 27th place is going to be going to Operation Husky. Operation Husky, in my opinion, Operation Arcane, okay, so here's the thing. Arcane's is okay in terms of its design choice, but Operation Husky's, in my opinion, has the worst design choice of any of the maps, but it plays better than Arcane, so I'm putting it one spot higher than Arcane. But like I said, I do think this one plays, or has a design choice that is worse than Operation Arcane's is. I just think it's kind of boring. It's just like a random town. It's at night too, and I hate nighttime maps unless they're really well done, but this is not a really well done nighttime map. It just kind of felt bad. Coming in at 26th place, however, is going to be going to Groston House. Yes, you can fight on Groston House in multiplayer. I know the Zombies fans are going to be like, what? That's a Zombies map. No. It was a multiplayer map as well. It wasn't the best multiplayer map, though, because it was clearly made for zombies, and so it's not like, it doesn't play that well in multiplayer. It's another nighttime map, too, which makes it, again, pretty hard to see. Now, it's not just the house, though, of Groston House. I know Groston House and Zombies is literally just that house. This is, like, the house and the yard and backyard and whatever. So it's a pretty small map, which is something, at least. But I don't know. I've never been the biggest fan of Groston House. However, coming in at 25th place in the final one for the bad tier before we move into the average tier is Dunkirk. It's okay. It's the Battle of Dunkirk, man. It's you know, it's a pretty legendary battle in real life, and in the game, it's all right. I like again, it's just another city, but I do like how it's on the beach. You know, it's got like the beachfront vibes there. I like that. That's pretty cool. It's bright enough you can actually see enemies, which is saying something compared to the most of the maps we talked about so far. That's good. But again, I do think the Dunkirk map just feels a little bit too large, and that's unfortunately again the downside to most of these DLC World War II maps. All right, but coming in at the number 24 spot, and the first one for the average tier is Egypt. Egypt is fits the mold for average perfectly. I think they really nailed the design choice. Fighting in the Egyptian pyramids and the Egyptian ruins and stuff like that is obviously super cool. And they made it somehow like make sense for World War II as well, and that's honestly really impressive. Like, I as far as I can remember, I don't think they were fighting in Egypt at any point during World War II, but it fits really well, and it's pretty freaking good in terms of its design choice. But then, unfortunately for me, I do think the gameplay of it was a little bit bad. Coming in at 23rd place, however, is going to another one of the war mode maps, Operation Supercharge. Operation Supercharge is like a more, I would say, like Middle Eastern style country instead of the basic towns, which that's better. And on top of that, you can see in Operation Supercharge. It's not pitch black like Husky, and you can actually make some grounds in Operation Supercharge. On top of that, another big problem with Husky that I felt like is that there wasn't very many like high points for snipers, but Supercharge did have a lot of nice little spots for snipers to perch themselves up in, little eagles nests for them, and it played really well for snipers as well. Operation Supercharge was definitely a massive improve on the other two that we just talked about. Coming in at 22nd, however, is even better than Operation Supercharge, Operation Breakout, which is another war mode map, obviously. But this one's just set in a, basic German or French town here. It's some European town with just some random buildings that are destroyed, and you just gotta make your way through it. And the setting is definitely a little bit more boring than Operation Supercharge is. It's just, again, it's just another random European town. Like, it's nothing special, but it plays really, really well. I like how this map plays significantly more than I like how Supercharge played. It's just, and on top of that, the design, it's an okay one. It's not like bad. It's not bad. It's just a little boring. However, coming in at 21st place is going to be going to Operation Intercept. Here's the thing. Operation Intercept just honestly feels like a better version of Operation Breakout. That's quite it. It reminds me a lot of that battle scene from Saving Private Ryan where the guy, he's like stuck upstairs, and he's got he's like coming up the stairs for him, and he like witnesses his buddy get stabbed, and then the guy walks down the stairs, looks at him, and doesn't even kill him. He just walks by him because he's like, wow, what a loser. It reminds me of like that setting from that movie, and so it's pretty cool. I like it. All right, but coming in, breaking its way into the top 20, however, is going to V2. Yeah, V2 is actually a DLC map. I know the V2 rocket was the nuke in this game, but they made the V2 rocket facility a map in this game, and there's like a bunch of V2 rockets. It's a small map, which is surprising for a freaking DLC map in this game. Almost all the DLC maps in this game are absolutely massive. This one's small, so that's a bonus. It plays more aggressively. But I don't really think the layout really works, man. It's got such a weird layout, and then there's like random parts of the map where it's like you can just like sometimes get just absolutely cooked to a crisp for some reason, and you can't see in those parts of the map sometimes as well. It's a weird design. It's just really, if you haven't played on this map, trust me, it's weird. However, coming in at 19th place is finally a base game map. Is this the first base game map of the list? I believe it is. No, Gustav Cannon. Yeah, Gustav Cannon was the first base game map. But either way, it's Aachen or Aachen. I do think this Aachen is a pretty bad one, a pretty weak base game map. It just feels like the spawns could have been significantly smaller, and the map would have played much better. It's also a very easy map to spawn kill, but only on one side, and that's like when it's the most frustrating. Like, it's already frustrating enough when you can get spawn killed like on both sides, but when you can only get spawn killed on one side, then it feels like if you just spawn somewhere, you immediately just get cooked, and that sucks. Coming in at 18th place, however, and the final one for the average tier before we move into the good tier is Stalingrad. Stalingrad, obviously a big, another big freaking moment in World War II history for sure. And in the game, it's okay. It's in the average tier for a reason. I think it's pretty freaking average. It's designed for a DLC map, is in my opinion a nice size. I think it's okay. I do think it's, again, slightly too large, but it's fine. I think it works. And the beautiful snow. It's finally, like, I love the snow maps already, but I like them when they're actually well designed, and it's very rare, I feel like, for Call of Duty to get snow maps right. And Stalingrad, I think they at least did okay on, so the snow adds to it. It makes it more cool and everything like that. There's long-range engagements, short-range engagements. It works. But now we are into the good tier. So maps in these tiers, it's pretty freaking good. Some of these maps I'm like, when I went back and like checked all the maps to make this video, I was like, oh my god, I love that map. 17th place is Sainte Marie du Mont. This is a base game map, and it just felt fun. In terms of its design, it's super boring. It's literally just a random French or German town yet again. It's just there. But it plays really well. not too large, but I don't think it's also a good size. I do think they could have, you know, shrunk it down a little bit, but it's not that, it's definitely not like massive or anything like that. And overall, I just think it plays really well. Design a little bit boring though. And coming in at 16th place is going to Operation Griffin, another war mode map. Yes, we only have one more after this, by the way, though, so don't worry. Operation Griffin, in terms of design, is super cool. It's the snowy one. The snowy one where you're behind the tanks and everything like that. It feels like a full-on war. It's not just set in the middle of a random town. I mean, there is, like, ruins and stuff like that, and, like, there's, like, parts to, like, a castle or something in the town, in the map, which is interesting. But this one feels like a battlefield map, and it works really well compared to the other ones that we've talked about so far. There's a lot more long-range engagements and stuff like that, and it's just a fun design. And then the snow adds to it as well. Coming in at 15th place, however, is one of the coolest design choices in the game, Sandbox. Sandbox pretty much only gets up here because of its design choice. It is really freaking cool. Like, not only, obviously, the idea of you're playing as a toy soldier, everybody's got the same toy soldier, like, outfits on and everything, and you're, like, running on, like, little, like, there's like crayons that are like massive, there's like milk cartons and other little fake toy soldiers to trick you, there's like log cabin. That is super cool. But then also, if you look at the background while you're playing this, it's even cooler. It's got freaking like, it's got like people like walking in the background, like loading things into a truck, and they look massive. It's just a really cool design map. Unfortunately, I don't think it played that well though, which is why it's not getting higher. 15th place is Shipment 1944. But three things actually before we get into that. First off, does anybody read books here? I used to never read books. Like, I'm 24. I didn't read book. The last time I read a book was probably when I was like 16 in high school, and I was forced to. But recently I've been like having a bad sleep schedule, so I was like, I gotta reset my sleep schedule. How do I do that? I looked it up, and somebody was like, start reading books before going to bed. So I started reading the Witcher books. Dude, oh my god, I'm actually like hooked on reading now. I read a chapter every night. I'm like actually such a big fan. Find a book that you're like actually a big fan of. Like, I know I'm a big fan of fantasy stuff, so I knew I was gonna like it. Started reading it, it was great. Second thing, I've been drinking strawberry milk like crazy. Why didn't anybody tell me how good strawberry milk was, man? Like, I remember it from a kid, but I didn't know I would still enjoy it now as a 24-year-old. Holy crap, it's delicious. And then the third thing was, the reason why Sandbox is also lower than it sounds like it should be based on my like perception of it is it didn't have very good freaking it didn't have very many game modes that you could play on it. That's the word I was looking for. Game modes that you could play on it. Either way, 14th place is Shipment 1944. The reason why I talked about other things instead of talking about Shipment during this is because Shipment has been in like every single game that we've talked about so far, and so I was like, you know what, screw this, I don't need to talk about it, I've already talked about it. Shipment's okay, it's overplayed. 13th place is going to Flak Tower. Just wanted to say I'm very sorry for like randomly rambling on there for like a minute straight about things that don't matter about the game, but I got ADHD, man. I don't know what to tell you. Either way, 13th place is Flak Tower. It's a base game map, and it just plays pretty well. I think it's like one of the more perfectly sized maps in this game. But I will say the setting is like really weird. I mean, it's a Flak Tower, I get it, but it just like, I feel like I'm up way too high. Like, I feel like I'm way too high than I should be on this map. Coming in at 12th place, however, is going to a remaster, Carentan. It's apparently a Call of Duty 2 remaster. I remember playing this when it came out in World War II, not Call of Duty 2. And I knew at the time it was a remaster, but I always thought it was a World at War remaster for some reason, and it is not. It's a Call of Duty 2 remaster. Call of Duty 2 had massive maps, and so the fact that this one plays as well as it does is actually surprising, because Call of Duty 2's multiplayer maps were not good at all. And so this is a good one for them to remaster, honestly. And coming in at the number 11 spot in the final one for the good tier before we move along into the amazing tier is Winter Carentan. Winter Carentan is Carentan, but winterfied. I remember this is, you know how every time that we get a new Call of Duty, they come out near Christmas, they come out around October, and then you play them in November, and then around December they release a snow map, whatever it may be. This was a snow map for this one, and it felt the most like, I remember sitting in my room as a freaking 16-year-old, I'm pretty sure I was 16 when this game came out. I was sitting there playing COD World War II, and there was snow going on outside, and I was just playing nice and cozy in my room on a snow-based Carentan map, and it just felt so like peaceful, so blissful, man. It was such a good designed map, man. I really like the snow aspect on this one. But now we are into the amazing tier. So maps in this tier are just freaking great. Some of these maps, the fact that they don't have a remaster yet is mind-blowing. 10th place is Excavation. This one I can understand why it doesn't have a remaster. It's not awesome or anything like that. I just think it played really well. The design is just an excavation site, you know, a World War II excavation site. There's like a bunker in the middle that you can go down into. There's like rail. It's not a bunker actually, because there's like it's a mining area, I believe. But overall, it plays pretty freaking well. It's smaller for the DLC maps, but it's still definitely a big map, so keep that in mind. But it's okay. I like it. Coming in at 9th place is another DLC map that I think is actually pretty good, Airship. Airship is fun. Airship is really fun, and the idea of the entire Zeppelin there being above the map is super freaking cool as well. The design is really cool. It's another snow map, but it's, you know, well implemented into this map, and I just like how like high up you are. It kind of like there's like that tram thing that you can see there, and it's just like feels cool. Like the design of the map isn't that like great or anything, but the side, like looking out past the map, is really cool. It just feels like you're in this like really awesome setting. That is the best way I can put it. It's a cool setting. But 8th place is going to the last of the war mode maps, Operation Neptune. This is easily my favorite, and I feel like most people's favorite war mode map, because of one reason and one reason only. It's freaking D-Day. D-Day, fighting in D-Day in a Call of Duty game was awesome the first time I played this, man. It still feels awesome too, and it's just like so well done. Honestly, the fact that Call of Duty managed to like nail its design this well, it has like random little AIs to add to the like D-Day aspect of it that just like get blown to smithereens. So it shows like all these soldiers, and they're not all your teammates. They're just, like I said, random little AIs that just run up and get killed. So like you can really see like the amount of people that were dying during D-Day. It's awesome. Then you could just, all you see is just gunfire from the bunkers, and the bunkers have like LMGs mounted for the defenders, and you spawn in the water with the crashing waves against like the tanks, and oh, it's so good. Such a good design. 7th place, however, is going to Valkyrie, another DLC map, but this one is actually like a really good design map. I really think that Valkyrie should get a remaster here. It is just really fun in terms of its like size and its layout and everything. Its design choice is just like some random like bunkers and stuff in the middle of the woods, like some random buildings in the woods, which is, you know, I guess kind of boring, but let's be real, most designs for World War II were pretty boring because they went with such a realistic approach for this game. Every map had to be super realistic except for Sandbox, but Valkyrie felt, you know, really fun to play on in terms of its layout. It just felt good. It didn't have like 15, like that's another problem with World War II maps, is that a lot of them had like buildings where there was like 3 stories in them, and it was just like hard to find enemies sometimes. This map didn't have that. Coming in at 6th place, however, is going to USS Texas. Yeah, spoiler alert, most of the maps up here towards the top of this list are actually base game maps. I think they really nailed it with the base, like I said before, I think they nailed it with the base game maps, and the DLC maps they kind of flopped on. Because USS Texas was freaking awesome. I remember playing USS Texas and loving it. Is it as good as Hijacked? No. And they did actually remaster this when they put it back in Vanguard, which was fun in Vanguard for sure. But this map is just, it just plays really well for a ship map, man, especially since like we've had more ship maps since then, Black Ops Cold Wars in particular, that I can remember, that just didn't really play that great. And then this one, just like going back and playing it, just felt so much fun, and you can see all the destroyers in the background fighting each other as well. It's really cool. But coming in at 5th place, in the final one for the amazing tier, before we move into the best tier, is Gibraltar. Gibraltar is, in my opinion, like, you know, every Call of Duty has that one map where when you think of the game, you think of that map. This is that one for me. I always think of Gibraltar when I think of World War II. I don't know why. It's not my favorite, obviously. It's number 5. But it's always just, for some reason, the first one that pops in mind. I feel like it's just like the World War II map. But it's super fun, man. It's really well done. The fact that they haven't remastered this map yet, maybe they have and I don't know about it, but the fact that as far as I can know they haven't remastered it is mind-blowing. But now we are into the best tier. So maps in this tier is obviously just the best in the game. When they pop up, you gotta vote for them because they're just incredible. 4th place is Point du Hoc. Point du Hoc is the one, it's the trench warfare map. Okay, it's that one with the, for some reason, that random building. I don't know why there's the random building on this map and on the side there, but it's there. It's awesome. Trench warfare is fun in World War II. It's a smaller map for sure, but it's small in size, but it doesn't feel that small because of the trenches being like so like maze-like, you know. And then there's that bunker which you could really work down onto the trenches below you too. That feels fun to like be sitting up in. It's just a really awesomely designed map, and it's freaking fun. Coming in at 3rd place, however, is going to be going to a map that every time it gets remastered, I'm going to put it towards the top of my list, Occupation, because it's a Resistance remake from Modern Warfare 3. Resistance is one of the best maps ever made. I've mentioned that multiple times. I freaking love Resistance. I think it's the perfect size, perfect design choice, and every time they remake it, it's going to be great. Occupation is a Resistance remake, and it is, yep, great. Now, in World War II, I think they again, it's like kind of obvious in terms of their design choices. It's like if they hadn't remade this map, I would have been surprised, because even in Modern Warfare 3 it was set in the French world, and a lot of maps in this game are set in the French world, so it makes sense why they remastered it. But in the design, for somebody that hasn't played Resistance, you might be like, well, that's kind of boring, and it is pretty boring, but the play style of it is awesome. Coming in at second place, however, is going to Ardennes Forest. Ardennes Forest is like, I'm pretty sure this is the first, you know how like every time you play a new Call of Duty, you play the first match that you play, that map is going to stick with you. This is the first match I ever played in this game. Ardennes Forest stuck with me ever since then. But even if it didn't stick with me, I really do think this is just a really good map. It has a 3-lane layout. It's got lanes for people that want to go long range. It's got like, it doesn't really have the most short range engagements in this map, to be honest. You really have to work for your short range engagements. But once you do work for those short range engagements, you can really lay some freaking pain down, man. And it's just it doesn't have like 7,000 buildings all with like 3 floors in them and gets it all confused. It's like, it works really freaking well. But first place, and in my opinion, the best Call of Duty World War II map is London Docks. London Docks is just awesome. This is like the poster child to World War II. The fact that this has not been remastered yet is mind-blowing, because this map is so great. It's incredible. It's one of the best Call of Duty maps ever, in my opinion. It is the perfect size, perfect 3 lanes, perfect little flank routes to go into, perfect... there's literally a playstyle for everybody. Now, obviously, this map is definitely more set for the close quarters combat folks. You know, if you like the shotguns and SMGs, this map is definitely better for you. But you can do good on this map as an LMG player, freaking AR player, a sniper player. Like, you can make it work. It's just going to be a little bit harder on this map than some other maps. It is just so freaking perfect. I love London Docks. The entire middle part where B flag usually is awesome as well. Like, that part is such a cool little like war area. There's like barely any cover, so if you go out there, it's like no man's land. It's so much fun. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video, ranking all 36 Call of Duty World War II multiplayer maps from worst to best. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what other videos I'd like to see in the comment section down below. And yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else to say, I guess, tonight. I did want to say a massive freaking thank you, by the way. We're at 36 subscribers. Okay, we started this channel like a month ago, and like literally last week I was saying thank you to 7 subscribers. Like last week, like go look at my like 4th old video, or maybe not even, maybe even 3rd old video, I don't know, and listen to the intro. It's probably me being like, thank you guys for 7 subscribers, because that was literally like a week ago, and we're already at 35 now. Like, you guys are blowing the channel up out of nowhere. You guys are freaking loving this channel, so that makes me super happy. I love making videos on this channel. It's so much fun to talk about Call of Duty finally, and just be able to speak my mind about it. And it's just been a really fun time, man. I obviously, I know that my opinions aren't always 100% correct, but that's it's just my personal opinion. Okay, I want to make that very clear here, that it's just my opinions, man. Let me know what COD game you'd like to see me rank the maps in next. I think Modern Warfare 2, the OG Modern Warfare 2, is the one that we're going to do next, but I can do anything. You know, I can do Black Ops Cold War, I can do Black Ops 3, I can do Black Ops 1, I can do Modern Warfare 3, the original, I can do Modern Warfare 2 2022, I can do Modern Warfare 2019, and I think that's actually it, though. I think after that, we'd be all done. So yeah, let me know what you guys want to see, though. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.